So this is our first in our series of discussions with female founders, and I have the great pleasure to have as a guest today, Anne. So Anne, who are you with a couple of sentences?
My name is Anne Aikala, and I have a company called Superskills, and it was started in 2016.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Good.
No, it's a marketing matchmaking platform.
Wonderful. So I'm always surprised. Why do women start their companies? So what made you start your company?
I was curious about how much I can do, like as a startup entrepreneur, and not like being employed by somebody else, or like just taking the things to the limit.
Wonderful. Yeah, we had some backstage discussions, and you were saying that you are like always so interested in doing new things, and you always see development opportunities also in the companies that you have worked since.
Yeah.
Then, so that's wonderful. So, so how did it go with or how is it going with your Superskills company?
Well, right now it's not active, but I used to, for 6 years I was working like actively full-time on the company, and we created a platform, and we marketing and sales, and we got some good corporations with quite big companies.
Cool. And I think we discussed like sometimes we people when we start our companies we maybe do some things in a wrong order, a bit differently than we thought. So what kind of learnings would you like if you would do it again? How would you do it differently than you did then?
I would not make the platform like 100% ready before like seeing that does it have market potential or do we get funding. I would do it like maybe in smaller scale, and then like first seek for funding and make the market validation ready, and then after that like continue on the development side.
Yeah, I think we have sometimes we want to make everything perfect. I certainly know that feeling, and not like you said, to do it just to the point where you can get some market validation, have some feedback, and then maybe you are developing it to the wrong direction,
Yeah.
something like that. So amazing. That's very good thing to hear. So when you think about, we were discussing about why do women start startups, and that somebody was asking me, so do these female founders that we work with, do they have families?
Yes, they do.
They do.
At least I have.
Exactly. Yeah. And what do you think? Do you think it's easier or more difficult for women because they have a family to set up a company?
I think it's easier. Maybe in the beginning I thought it was really hard because I felt that I had to work like 24/7. But actually it's almost easier to be a startup than to be like working for a company as an employee, because now I had a freedom. I could take breaks during the day and could work on weekends or whenever I had time.
Exactly. So it gives you a freedom of choice.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing there.
Yeah.
You can decide where you work from and when. That's cool. So, and then we were touched a little bit about the fact that sometimes, maybe as a female founder, it's more difficult to find funding. So what is your experience? Do you think it's of course we are not men, but how is your feeling?
Well, I read the research. I know that it should be like, or I think it's like that females maybe not get the same funding like men, but I never actually thought about it.
So so you don't think there might be, so that's good to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always wonderful to hear that there's no problems with that. So then when we think, what would be like if you think about who should set up a company, like as a female, who should go and set up their own company?
Well, I think that
what is needed?
I think it's you have to be a bit brave, a bit crazy, and creative, and just like not think about the boundaries you might have, but just like just go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
That's good advice. And we just as a final thing, we were thinking about it. So how could we encourage more women to start their own companies? What is there something missing in the ecosystem or in the society?
Well, I don't know. I think it's maybe an attitude that you just like things maybe they will work out, maybe they will not, but you will absolutely learn something, and it will make your life more interesting.
I certainly have experienced that too. It made my life so much more interesting. So thank you very much, Anne, for your time and this interesting conversation we have had. Thank you.
Thank you.